Notre Dame recruiting fans, boy, we have a big video today. Notre Dame hosted its second official visit weekend this past weekend on the third weekend of June, and boy, was it big. Xavier Nwankpa, Nicholas Singleton, Joe Brunner, a few top 75 rated players in the country were in attendance. You're watching Jaden Bellamy's film right now, by the way. Few 2023 guys, Carnell Tate, Mac Markway were also in attendance. Wow. Got a lot to get to. I want to start, though, with the 2023 guys, just like I did last time. Carnell Tate was at Notre Dame for his second visit this June. While he was on campus, he decided to make one more visit this month with his grandma and his mom. That will take place June 27th, next Sunday. So, big visit there. Grandma and mom on board. He has a commitment date of November 14th, tentatively scheduled. That is his mother's birthday. And a few days before his last regular season game for IMG Academy. This is really big news, a huge development. Mac Markway loved his time as well. I could see Markway committing by the end of the summer. Really had amazing things to say about Tommy Rees, John McNulty, and Brian Kelly. And Notre Dame is recruiting at a very high level, big boy recruiting right now. Let's get to 2022, and I'll start on the offensive line. They brought in three visitors, Emil Wagner, Carson Hinzman, Joe Brunner. Brunner and Hinzman, both from the state of Wisconsin. Emil Wagner from the Dayton area in Ohio. Wagner visited Kentucky last weekend, Ohio State the weekend before, and he enjoyed both those two visits, but I think Notre Dame's visit just took it up a notch. Very academic kid, has very, very good grades, wants to go to an elite academic school. I don't know how much Stanford is recruiting him anymore. And let's be real, Kentucky and Notre Dame and Ohio State are not competing with Notre Dame right there. Great schools, but Notre Dame just at a different level. I think that really stood out to Wagner and his family. And I do think Wagner will end up in this class. I'm surprised I'm saying that. I really thought he'd end up at Ohio State. But I guess that in-state poll isn't as fierce as I once thought it was, and we once thought it was. And academics, I think, going on campus and seeing that really, really push the bar. Could he end up at Ohio State? 1,000,000%. I'm not as confident to put in a pick or anything, but I do think Notre Dame leads as of today. And getting the last important official visit, I think he might be taking one more to Penn State or something. That definitely matters. All right, let's go to Hinzman. Carson Hinzman was on campus this past weekend, was at Ohio State 2 weekends ago, and was at Wisconsin last weekend. I'm liking where things stand with Hinzman, but I will say I expected more. I really could have seen Carson Hinzman being committed to Notre Dame by now. He's not. He might be visiting Alabama this week. I think Iowa as well. I don't see those two teams making a big push, though, but Wisconsin and Notre Dame are the two to know here. I could see Notre Dame filling up, though, before he wants to commit. I could see Wagner committing by the end of the month or by mid-July. Same with Wagner. I could even see a guy, probably not Zach Rice, but a guy like Jake Taylor, one of the other offensive linemen that are very high on Notre Dame, ending up Billy Scrouth. We'll see. But Joe Brunner is a guy who really enjoyed his visit. And he was a guy who I said, I think there's more of an in-state pull for him than there is with Hinzman and Scrouth. I'm not so sure because Brunner, I do think, will end up at Notre Dame now. Not as confident to make a pick. I'm close. But, wow, Brunner really enjoyed his time. Didn't really do interviews, but he did do some interviews with some of the other guys around Notre Dame recruiting. And from what it sounded like, he absolutely loved his time. Shout out to Jeff Quinn and Tommy Rees for that one. Same with Brian Kelly as well. Joe Brunner really had a good time. Let's go to the wide receivers. There were two in attendance. Nicholas Anderson from Katy, Texas, and Elik Einamar from Deerfield Academy up in Massachusetts. I'll start with Einamar. Einamar just came off an official visit to Tennessee and Vandy. He hit up Notre Dame, absolutely loved his time, but I do think he's going to end up at maybe Tennessee, maybe Stanford. I could even see Vandy. Stanford more playing time. Same thing with Vandy, Tennessee as well. I don't really see him cracking the depth chart here at Notre Dame, but good to get him on campus. If things don't work out, we'll see. Maybe something happens. But I don't think he ends up in this class. Nicholas Anderson is a guy who I do think ends up in this class. I like Nicholas Anderson. He's a good player, but I don't know if he's a take right now, in my opinion. Rated in the top 250, but I just like guys like Xavier Bradshaw, unrated wide receiver from Virginia, son of Ahmad Bradshaw. Guys like C.J. Williams, Tobias Merriweather, Morion Walker, who's picking up a ton of offers. I just like them a little bit more, in all honesty. I think Walker's set in stone. A lot of people think he's wavering. I don't think so. I think Walker's going to stay in this class. That could very well change, though. I think Tobias Merriweather commits by the end of July. And I could see C.J. Williams ending up in this class. I could see him going elsewhere. If he goes elsewhere, I think he's pretty much locked in to be in this class. Nicholas Anderson is. But I think they're going to end up taking 4 wide receivers with Jay Brunell and JJ leaving. Jordan Johnson, that is. So I think you have Merriweather and I think you have Walker. Pretty much, I'd give it 75 to 90% odds they say in this class. Both of them. Merriweather isn't even committed, but I do think he ends up in this class. You add on C.J. Williams, I'd give it probably 50, 60 odds that all 3 of them end up. And then the 4th guy, I don't know. I'm expecting it to be Nicholas Anderson, but it very well could be Xavier Bradshaw as well. I'd be thrilled. And then maybe Williams doesn't come. Then you put Bradshaw and Anderson, and that's still a damn good class. So that's my take on the wide receiver situation. It's pretty crazy. But let's move to defensive end very quickly for one lone guy, Cyrus Moss. He was in attendance. This dude's taking his recruitment the distance. I think he's going to end up coming back for an unofficial in the fall. That would be awesome. But a long way to go there. Really no leaders in his recruitment. He's definitely one in the fall when we start touching on 2023 guys instead. He'll be one of the stragglers that we talk about later in this cycle. And the final 2022 guy I'll touch on 2 more. Jaden Bellamy, a film you were just watching. Good visit. I do think he ends up at Penn State, though. I think Notre Dame lands Devin Moore, Jake Pope, and then maybe Nwankpa or Morrison. I don't think they're going to have room for Bellamy. I think he's probably the lowest in the totem pole, but very good play nevertheless. But yeah, that's it with that. Let's go to Xavier Nwankpa. Highlights you're watching right now. He was a guy who I got a vibe going into this visit. I don't know. Really liked his Texas A&M visit. Ohio State's looking good. But I really think the locker room vibe and how much it feels like home. I feel like home in Iowa. I think that helped. I said that completely wrong. But Xavier Nwankpa is from a small town in Iowa. Doesn't go to the biggest school. Lives pretty much in the middle of nowhere. And that's pretty much like South Bend. It's really, really similar. I don't know. I think that helps. Columbus, big city. College Station is in Texas. It's pretty far away. I don't know. I'm just getting a vibe that he really likes. I think it just feels like home. Now, football-wise, he's going to start or at least play right away at any of his top 3 schools. I think that's pretty much locked up. I think Nwankpa is a top 10 player in this class. I think he's going to go on to be a first-round NFL pick unless some freak injury happens. I am so high on Nwankpa. Now, freak injuries could happen, whatever. I don't think he knows where he wants to go, and I really don't know where he's going. But I think Notre Dame, if they haven't evened it up, they're right there with Ohio State. I don't think he's going to end up in College Station, but I do think Notre Dame has a lot better of a shot than they did 2-3 months ago. I think it's maybe 45-55, 50-50, 40-60. I think Ohio State maybe is a slight edge right now. But the more he thinks about it, I could see Notre Dame pulling away. But I'm not going to be a Notre Dame homer. I'm not going to be one of those guys. It's Ohio State, Notre Dame, as I think people are agreeing with me now. We will see. This recruitment's going to get crazy in the next few weeks. I do think he commits before his senior season. He said that. So we shall see. But that's it for me. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate all the recent support. Make sure you like and subscribe. And that is it. Peace.